been so far, Timmy?
It's been good. New group, new long snappers. Lost both our long snappers last year, so it's been exciting working with both Marco and Camden, Kentucky. Now getting accustomed to Coach Foley has been going well, so we've been having a good time. We've been doing well out there in the special teams periods and individual work, so it's been good.
As a specialist, how much acclimation does it take to have a new long snapper, have new special teams coordinator?
Yeah, I mean, the coordinator, that just comes down to mainly just schemes, and doesn't really affect our kicking too much, but at least on field goal is pretty much the same thing. But in terms of working with the new long snappers, it's just getting more repetitions with them every day, finding the right distance to make sure laces are out on field goal or punch, just getting used to their punch snaps. So.
How do you think your first year went at Nebraska? I don't think we got to talk to you a lot about it. What was your evaluation of it?
I think it went well. I mean, we didn't kick too many field goals, in my opinion. So, and then the ones we did, we had a lot of shorter ones. So, just converting those, I thought we did well there, and we had a really good operation and field goal unit, in my opinion. So, it went pretty clean in my.
We'd be remiss if we didn't ask you. I mean, they're obviously bringing in another scholarship kicker. You don't see that everywhere. What's just your feeling on the competition that's going to be ahead and that's ongoing?
Yeah, in terms of just bringing in a new kicker, competition never hurts. So, I mean, iron sharpening iron, really, in my opinion. So, it'll be fun to work with him, bringing in a young kicker and just getting to know him and kick with him. And it never hurts having good kickers on the roster. So,
what jumps out to you about? You mentioned him, Coach Foley, just his style, and what sort of popped out to you so far?
Given that he just came from the NFL, he's got an NFL mindset, which is really helpful for us. He tells us what needs to be done or what's expected for the NFL, and we kind of just try to replicate that as specialists. So we know what he wants, we know what the NFL wants if that's our goal, which our room it is. So it's been good working with Foley in that sense.
Hey Timmy, who's doing with Brendan and Frankie gone? Like, have you been doing both duties this year? Do a kickoff specialist as well?
We haven't done too many kickoffs for the spring at least. We'll hit more of those. I mean, we'll hit a few, but we'll hit more of those come fall camp. And at least me personally as a kicker, and I feel like a lot of kickers in general, we kind of take the off season away from kickoffs. You don't hit too many of those because it's very taxing on the leg. So me and Brian and Spencer, we've all been working on kickoffs throughout the off season. So it'll be just some competition and come fall, and we'll be working on those all summer too. So.
Have you done a lot of kickoffs in your career previously?
Not in my college career. I've never started as a kickoff guy, but I've always been capable of doing kickoffs, and here I just did field goals, and then at Furman I did both field goals and punts. So, but I've always been able to do them. So, I'm looking to compete for that spot in the fall.
New long snapper. What's any noticeable differences, or just long snapping? And is there any big changes you've noticed this year?
I wouldn't say like noticeable differences, but last year we were really fortunate to have two really good long snappers, one on field goal, one on punt. So losing them is definitely a difference. But Marco and Camden have really stepped up, and I think they've been doing really well all spring. And I've been comfortable with them on field goal, and I think Brian and punters are all comfortable with them on punt. So it's been fun working with them, and they're working really hard. So it's also fun to see that too.
Working on kickoffs, is there anything you have to do with that, or is that just repetition, working on the same thing, doing the same thing over and over?
It's just like any kicking or punting, it's repetition. But the swing is slightly different than a field goal, given it's off a 1-inch tee, not off the ground like field goals. So, and then your form is slightly different. You want to get more of your knee drive through the ball, just get more power on it and drive it farther. You are looking to get height and hang time, but field goal you want more height to get over the defensive line. So it's just slightly different, but pretty much similar to a field goal swing in my opinion. You also land on your kicking foot on a kickoff to drive it and get more power through. Rather on field goal, you land on your plant foot. So.
Is that a challenge when you've only been doing one to have both of those, be able to do both of those?
No, I wouldn't say it's a challenge now. It's just something something else in our bag of tricks that we can do. Any kicker should be able to hit a field goal or kick off if they need to. Punting, you could make an argument that it could be tricky because it is a completely different swing, but kickoff, it's pretty similar, so it's not too hard. No.
You got your master or your undergrad at Furman last year. I mean, how far away are you from your master's? Is that something you're trying to complete here at Nebraska?
Yeah, I got my undergrad in business administration at Furman, and I'm getting my MBA here at Nebraska. I'm hoping to graduate by December. That way, when I exhaust my football eligibility, I can be done with school as well. If need be, I might take one class in the spring and finish it up there, but I should be able to graduate by December if I take the correct amount of courses each.
How important is that to you, too, to kind of accomplish that here?
It's huge. It's huge. One of the main reasons I came back, along with just why not play another year of football when I can, but education is really big to me because it's something to easily fall back on, and being able to get an MBA, I'm really fortunate to. So.
Is there anything that has sort of opened your eyes to or made you realize more just from this experience, just at the next level that you maybe didn't kind of think about?
I wouldn't say like anything dramatic, but one thing Coach Foley has been really kind of emphasizing with us throughout practice is we need to have a competitive mindset when we're working, just like without kicking the ball, because you can only kick so many reps during practice, or else your leg will get really tired and form will start to decrease. So one thing he always says, like when we're doing just dry runs with field goal snaps and I'm not hitting the ball, but I'm running through it, he always says keep a competitive mindset because it's really easy just to go through the motions in those drills. And he says that's what the professionals do. Like he always references Johnny Hacker, who he coached with at Carolina, and he's always saying his attention to detail and everything he does is like he would always tell the kicker, you have to have a spot you're aiming at, like past the goalpost, and you need to tell it to the holder. So that's one thing I've kind of worked on with Brian, just more attention to detail. I'm telling Brian what my aiming point is and just trying to keep a competitive mindset throughout the entirety of practice rather than just going through the motions.
What's your range now, Timmy? How good do you feel? How far out?
For field goal?
Yeah, for field.
That's a kind of a tough question because Nebraska is probably the windiest stadium you can play in, and it really depends on the wind. But if, say, there's no wind or anything, I'd say I'm comfortable to be sent out from 55 yards and in. Now, if I have some wind at my back, it could go 60, 61, wind in my face. It just alters depending on the wind situation.
Did that wind situation when you got here, did it take you by surprise, or were you pretty much expecting it coming in?
Oh, I've always heard Nebraska. When I committed, I knew Nebraska was a windy place. There was a couple games that were super windy here last year, especially that Wisconsin game. So it was kind of fun and interesting to work with that because, I mean, both kickers on both teams have to deal with the same thing. And when you got wind in your face, that means the other two quarters you got wind at your back. So I knew it, and I like the challenge. I actually enjoy that this is the windiest stadium to play in the country. That's what I've talked to Brett Maher over last summer and the offseason, and he says this is the hardest stadium to kick in. So my mindset is if I can kick in this stadium, I can kick anywhere. So I use it as a challenge almost.
Anything else from Tim? Good.
Thank you.